Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Kiss Me Before Flight by Thia, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Prologue, Callie. I ran. I ran for myself. I ran for my sanity. I ran for self-preservation. 2 days before. 20 freaking years. Bodine's bellow easily topped the music I played today to help lighten the mood in our house. Try as I might, it was never a home. Home holds a meaning I'd always longed for. A home smelled like warm, delicious aromas. A home was filled with laughter from family. A home sounded like love. Living in this house with my so-called husband, I'd never been able to create the picture my mind had longed for. My images were warped the moment Bodine walked through the doorway every day after work. Daily, I tried to make this house a home, only for him to tear my mental images down. How much longer could I allow this to happen? Maybe one day he'd kill me, and then it'd be all over. I wouldn't let that happen. I won't. I just won't. For 20 freaking years, I've told you to have my beer ready when I walk through the door. The gasket around the old refrigerator moaned as the door slammed from the force of his big hands. I slipped into his private room as quietly as possible and prayed 1 or 2 beers might be hidden in the back of the small cooler he kept there. He rarely lets me walk in his room, so I had no idea if he thought to add some before he went to bed last night. Thank you, Jesus. My whisper heard only by him and me when 2 light beers sat in the back behind something strange-looking that grew in the container. I snagged the 2 and walked quickly back to the kitchen where his foul language rang off the yellowed walls. Here you go, nice and cold, just how you like 'em. The frosty bottles made an easy sound on the table that stood between us. I knew better than getting too close to him at that moment. At 6'3", 270 pounds, I don't stand a chance against him. His size alone used to scare me, but I learned survival skills like keeping something substantial between us when he's angry. I devised these small movements over the years living with the mean bastard. His steely eyes glared in my direction. He must have stopped on the way home from work because the whites looked like maps of New York City. More red protruded than white. That, in and itself, is enough to scare me senseless. I can't show fear, though. He relished the thought of making me fear for my life. God, I hated to the core of my soul the man he'd become. What have I told you about keeping the beer in this fridge, bitch? His words changed to softly spoken, a tone I knew all too well. Come here. You have beer right here, Bodine. My shaky fingers quickly pointed. Why don't you take it to the den and I'll serve you some snacks with them before dinner? Deflect or redirect is always a good choice when dealing with drunk Bodine. What I'd prefer to do is pick up my cast iron skillet and slam it against his head. Could I swing it hard enough to knock him out? He'd kill me if I didn't. Is something wrong with your hearing today, or are you too dumb to respond? I said get the fuck over here. He pointed to a spot directly in front of him. If I were an errant child, I'd have run out the back door hoping I was fast enough to escape. I'm standing right here, honey. What do you need? My mind raced with options to keep him on the opposite side a little longer. I needed time to make a plan to escape his wrath. Before my last words silenced in my ears, he skirted around the table. I felt his huge hand palm my throat, cutting off my air supply. Try as I might to remain calm, I knew I couldn't last. Kill me, you mean son of a bitch. Just kill me this time. It'd save me the wasted effort of running. Why do you force me to discipline you, Callie? You're not a child, goddammit. But I think you enjoy pissing me off day after day. So, punishment is what it's gonna take, right? His fist tightened around my throat as my body rose, so only my tiptoes scraped the floor. Our noses almost touched as he spoke to me. He took a deep breath and blew out the horrid smell of beer. His words came out calmly, and the staccato speech he used heightened my fear. What's wrong with your brain that you can't remember my simple request? Every fucking day I come home after working my ass off to provide a nice home for you to live in, and the only thing I ask is for you to keep beer cold in the fridge for me. Hell, I don't even ask you to serve me." Words were whispered as best I could. I know, Bodine. I got busy cleaning. Didn't realize it was so late. But look." I pointed to the 2 sweaty cans sitting a foot away from us. "2 cold beers waiting just for you." The muscles in his hand tightened on my throat, and his vile breath assaulted my nose as he moved in even closer to me. "You robbed these from my cooler, didn't you?" I nodded, speaking impossible. Saying the words out loud would be worse, though. He reared back, and the flat of his palm swiped across my face. "If I've told you once, you stupid cunt, I've told you 1,000 times. You ain't fucking allowed in my goddamn room unless I'm with you. I only allow you to clean in there. A man needs a place to unwind without a useless whore like you bothering him constantly. Every damn day, Callie. Every goddamn day I gotta come home to your fucking ugly face and skinny useless ass. Can't even get a good fuck out of you." How many times have I heard those words from him? How many times did he have to belittle me with a string of names longer than his pathetic penis? He wielded his sexual prowess like it's something to write home about, when in reality it was nothing more than a pencil dick. In the midst of his tirade, I wanted to laugh in his face. I do have a death wish. His arm flew in the other direction, and my neck broke loose from his grip when he backhanded me. Stars swam in front of my eyes with the ferocity of the strike. "I have half a mind to make you go in there, strip down, and lick the entire floor around my chair, but I don't want your scrawny ass sticking up in the air for me to have to look at. Makes me sick enough to vomit." Thank goodness. He made me do so many things while naked. I know it's to degrade me, but I'm so far past that. My don't care meter is stuck on don't give a flying fuck. Bodine backed me up to the wall. I sucked in a breath from the look on his face. So instead, my head met the sheetrock hard enough to crack the plaster. I'm going to straighten this situation out right here in the kitchen. Bang. My head hit the broken sheetrock again before I felt his other hand fist the front of my simple cotton dress. I barely had the thin material over my head when I heard his truck turn in the driveway. The dresses hung in my closet all day, but I did what he insisted on before he walked through the doorway. Today, I dropped my panties, another must, as I poked my arms through the sleeves, not making it into the kitchen in time to check for beer. My body flew through the air by my neck and landed on the floor behind the kitchen table chair. He let go of my neck long enough to wrap my hair around his fist, and then he pulled me in front of him. "No, Bodine, I promise. It'll never happen again. I'll be waiting every day with your beer in a frosty mug. You know, like you get at the bar." My voice held a pathetic tone to it. Begging wasn't beneath me when it came to him, but the hate it festered in me grew tenfold. "Shut the fuck up and pull that dress off, or I'll rip the damn thing from your scraggly, useless body myself." He twisted his hand tighter, ripped some of my hair out by the roots as he yelled at me. I whipped off what was left hanging on me, knowing he'd let go of me to drop it to the floor. But the sound of the seams giving way as he ripped it past his arm burned my ears. "Now, bitch, take my limp dick out and see if fucking your mouth will get it hard so I can take you like a man. If you're real good at it and get me nice and hard, I'll fuck that ass. I know how you howl when I do that to you. Makes me love it more than that dry hole of yours." I unzipped his pants and removed his flaccid penis. There was little to work with when he came home already drunk. Why couldn't just once the police stop him while driving drunk? I prayed for that scenario every day. With him sitting in jail, I could be gone in no time. I spent the day making my plans to escape this hellhole, which was what led to this situation I found myself in at the moment. I rubbed and manipulated the limp dick, hopefully getting him to respond. I spit in my hand to help while he opened one beer and downed it. "You ain't working hard enough. My dick hates you. You know that?" He smashed the can on top of his head. I slumped until he pulled my hair again. "Did I tell you to stop, whore? Give it your best shot, or you know where this is going." I took the spongy skin in my mouth and sucked, sliding through the spit on the short shaft. Thankfully, it started responding to my movements. The harder it grew, the more he took over the thrusting to the point he rammed it down my throat until it cut off my air supply. He held it there until I was ready to pass out and pulled back, and then I quickly gulped in air. "Take it, bitch. You know how this works." He thrust in and out, tearing at my mouth and throat each time. I felt the end in sight when he started swelling in my mouth. "Oh, thank you, Lord," I thought to myself, apparently for no reason. He jerked it from my mouth and pulled me to standing. I felt more of my hair ripped from my scalp. My body twisted around from his force before the cool gloss of the wooden tabletop connected with my cheek and temple. His palm pushed at the side of my face and held me down. My nose wanted to wrinkle from the disgusting smell of his hands he never washed, but he pushed my face so hard I was afraid he'd break my jaw if I moved a muscle. His dick slashed through my dryness. Nothing he did gets my body to respond to him. He beat the desire out of me long ago. Can't this cunt ever get wet for me just fucking once? It's like the motherfucking Mojave Desert in there. Guess I gotta do it all. I heard him spit in his hand, knowing what he was about to do. I tried to relax so the pain wouldn't be so devastating, but my body refused to cooperate. He pushed into my vagina so hard I felt something tear. A scream left my mouth before I could stop it. "Oh, screamer today. You know how I like you screaming. How about screaming my name some, too? That shit really makes me want to fuck you like I'm a damn racehorse mounting a sweet little filly. Too bad you're too damn dumb to prance around like one so I could give it to you nice and slow and we could both enjoy it like we used to." His open palm landed a blow to my right ass cheek, no doubt leaving the outline of every finger on it, which would be on display for days to come in the shape of a bruise. "Now work for it, bitch. Show me how much you want it." His thrusts felt like they hit my cervix with every dry push, but I kept my mouth shut and forced myself to breathe through my nose. My mind took me to another place while he finished. I learned a long time ago to compartmentalize these rapes. He's right, though. After 20 years of abuse, I've had enough. Going to the police once or twice over the years did no good. With high school buddies working in the sheriff's department, he could smooth things over with a 12-pack and a few cigars. Our home wasn't in the city. Hell, it wasn't even in a town. The house was nice enough when he bought it, sight unseen, before we married. I did all I could to make it a home with the little money we had. I planted the seed of going away to college when our eldest entered high school a year ahead of his brother. Bodine didn't like it, but our sons were his pride and joy if he had any in him. What they wanted, they got, so when they both said they wanted to go off to play baseball, Bodine was all for it. Like I knew he would, he made it possible for them to reach for their dreams. Fortunately, Dyer, our youngest, doubled up and finished high school when Decker did. The college in East Texas offered a scholarship to both. Playing college ball made escaping easy for them. He squeezed his hand on my hip with each thrust and caused bruises I'd know I'd wear for days. I refused to make another sound and fought to keep them inside when the pain became completely unbearable. I would not give him the satisfaction of knowing the pain he inflicted. Never again. My ass cheek felt the burn as he smacked the same one over and over again. Between the bruises there on my hip and my face, I didn't know which would be worse. "Why are you being so quiet? Am I not making it good for you, too?" What a fucking joke. How was any of this good for me? I bit my fist to keep from the laugh or cry from slipping past my lips. Deciding which sound would be the first was difficult. Bang. My head met the wooden tabletop. "Bitch, I'm talking to you." What? Bang. My eyes rolled back in my head from the explosion inside it. "God damn it, answer me." His reeking hot breath rolled across my shoulder with each word. "I'm sorry, Bodine. I am sorry." The words were nothing more than a soft cry. My head was pounding on its own. I kept telling myself this was almost over when I felt the rough material of his work shirt scraping across my back. Somehow his impending orgasm mellowed him briefly, but the reprieve only lasted a few seconds before he ramped back up to the sadistic asshole he is. Teeth scraped across my shoulders as he began biting his way across my back. He stopped when he tasted blood and left teeth prints everywhere his mouth landed. The pain of my hair stopped when he let go to wrap both hands under my arms, grabbed my shoulders for purchase to thrust forward, and pulled me to him while he drove forward harder to cause more pain than before. Just knowing the end was soon allowed me to endure the act. Ugh, push. Ugh, push. Ugh, push. Fuck yeah. He fell forward, lying directly on me. His body weight forced me flat on the wood. Can't breathe. I reared up with the little strength I could muster. Can't breathe, Bodine. My lungs burned from the lack of oxygen. He stood behind me and slapped the neglected bare cheek a few times. Now they almost match. His laughter howled out of him as he snagged the beer can off the floor where it rolled as he attacked me. Get those snacks pronto. I'm starving after that boring piece of ass you offered up. I always have to do the work to get close to a decent fuck out of you. From my sideways view on the table, I watched his feet walk away. He stopped, and I cringed, afraid of his next move. Get up, you stinking cunt. You look like a goddamn prostitute lying there all spread out on our table where we eat. His feet shuffled on the floor further away from me. Oh my fucking God, you let blood drip all over this damn table, now it's dripping on the floor. Clean this shit up. And clean that filthy pussy before you spill my jizz all over it. Damn, woman, can't you take better care of yourself any better? To think you've had all fucking day to get ready for me to get home. What a dumbass. His head shook as though he couldn't believe I might have a solid thought in my head. My eyes fixated on his retreating back. The angle stayed the same as it hurt to move. It hurt to blink. When the burn from the tears rolled down and dropped on the wood, I knew I had to move. He'd come back if I didn't. No way could I go for round two, especially since he'd already ripped me enough to bleed. The force of my teeth grinding together as I made myself sit up felt close to snapping some in half. Damn him. If it didn't hurt, I'd bang my fist on the table. I'd laid still for a moment longer, thinking about my life. I was done with this miserable life. No more. Never again. This was the last day I'd ever go for another round of his pounding fists, his repeated rapes, and his belittling remarks. Brain matter would decorate the kitchen walls before I let it happen again.